I'm Laura Roundtree.
Hi, I'm Sophia Sperry.
This is the SSLR documentary team on the terrorist attack of September 11, 2001.
On this clear morning at 8:45 a.m., an American Airlines Boeing 767 loaded with 20,000 gallons of jet fuel crashed into the north tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact left a large burning hole near the 80th floor on the 110-story skyscraper.
This impact instantly killed hundreds of people and trapped hundreds more in floors above the impact. As television cameras broadcasted live images of what seemed to be a freak accident, a second Boeing 767 United Airlines Flight 175 appeared out of the sky. It turned towards the World Trade Center and collided into the south tower near the 60th floor.
The collision caused a massive explosion that showered burning debris over surrounding buildings and the streets below. After what seemed like a regular morning for the American citizens, the United States was now under attack.
Hello and welcome to Clifton Local News. I'm Cameron Monsoon.
And I'm Ashley Dewpoint.
Today we have a fairly average newscast for you. We'll go through the weather and then fall fashion trends, including flare jeans.
Flare jeans, how exciting.
How exciting.
Alright, let's go to our weather forecast. Today is Tuesday and it's bright and sunny out, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Put on your sandals and your shorts, it's going to be a hot day.
It's predicted to stay nice and sunny for the rest of the week. However, Hurricane Erin is brewing in the Atlantic Ocean, so you should be wary of that for the weeks following.
You're right, Cameron, I apologize for interrupting you.
That's okay.
We have a newscast from the day of the attacks. It shows the confusion and chaos surrounding the events.
And now onto our fall fashion trend. Flare.
Are you hearing this?
A plane crashed
What?
into the World Trade Center, the North Tower. Do you think it was deliberate?
Who could have done this?
It must have been an accident.
There are so many people dying.
Do you think the GPS went wrong or something? Like, how could you have just flown into a building?
We'll be right back with live footage covering the World Trade Center.
The attackers were Islamic terrorists from Saudi Arabia and several other Arab nations. They were reportedly financed by the Saudi fugitive Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda terrorist organization. They were allegedly acting in retaliation for America's support of Israel in the Persian Gulf War and the U.S.'s military presence in the Middle East.
Evacuations of large buildings in major cities around the nation started soon after the towers in New York started crumbling. There was a large psychological impact to the American people from this. A shutdown of civil aviation went into effect the morning of September 11th. Takeoffs were forbidden and all aircraft in the air were ordered to land, in most cases at airports that were not their destinations.
The United States government, thank you, Laura, dealt with this tragedy by creating the USA Patriot Act submitted by the Bush administration.
This was presented to Congress on September 24th, 2001, just 13 days after the attack.
Welcome back, Clifton local residents. It is 9:05 a.m. on September 11th, 2001. We are witnessing a tragic story about the World Trade Center being hit by now 2 airplanes, as we've just been informed, as another airplane has hit the South Tower.
We don't know who caused this or why they're doing it, but we do know that emergency medical services are on the scene. Search and rescue crew are headed into the towers. They're going to try to save as many people as they can, but we do know that there are already several casualties.
Eyewitnesses have also reported that there might be a possibility of bombs on board the airplanes, which could explain explosions that have been seen coming from the towers. They've also reported people committing suicide by jumping from both North and South Towers.
There are still so many questions that need to be answered. All we really know right now is that this is a horrible atrocity that has been committed to our country, and lots of people, we may still be in danger. We don't know what's going to come, and we don't know why.
Stay tuned, Clifton, and we'll keep you updated on this tragic story.
It is now 9:40, and yet another plane has crashed into a government building. A plane crashed into the Pentagon.
We've received word that this has not been as fatal of a crash as the World Trade Centers, but it is still a cause for concern. If I were you, I would hide your children and your families, because this is clearly an ongoing attack against the United States of America, and we should all be afraid. How many attacks will there be?
We don't know. Will there be more, or are they done? What are their other targets?
I would be very afraid of planes right now.
Legislations would follow, but most of the policies enacted in the name of war on terror would be accomplished through executive orders.
You can see the policies enacted through war and terror in today's society, as there are many things such as the Transportation Security Administration that takes place in the airport before you board the airplane. These regulations are set so that they can avoid situations that happen, like 9/11.
It is now 9:40, and yet another plane has crashed into a government building. A plane crashed into the Pentagon.
We've received word that this has not been as fatal of a crash as the World Trade Centers, but it is still a cause for concern. If I were you, I would hide your children and your families, because this is clearly an ongoing attack against the United States of America, and we should all be afraid. How many attacks will there be?
We don't know. Will there be more, or are they done? What are their other targets?
I would be very afraid of planes right now.
All told, 125 military personnel and civilians were killed in the Pentagon, along with all 64 people aboard the airliner. As you can see, there were many buildings that were harmed during this attack on the United States. And even then, the structural steel of the skyscraper, built to withstand winds in excess of 200 miles per hour and a long duration of fire, could not withstand the attack and the tremendous heat generated by the burning jet fuel. At 10:30 a.m., the other Trade Center tower collapsed. Close to 3,000 people died in the World Trade Center and in its vicinity, including a staggering 343 firefighters and paramedics, 23 New York City police officers, and 37 Port Authority police officers who were struggling to complete an evacuation of the building and all the people's lives inside the building. Only 6 people at the World Trade Center towers at the time of their collapse survived. Almost 10,000 others were treated for injuries, and many were highly severe.
It is now 10:02 on September 11, 2001. The story has continued to unfold as these now clearly terrorist attacks against the United States of America continue. We've just been informed that 3 minutes ago, the South Tower collapsed at the World Trade Centers.
Hopefully, all the search and rescue crews and all the citizens left in the building were able to get out and evacuate safely, but we do not have a definitive casualty list yet, or a definitive list of who all was present even, so we are unfortunately not sure the situation on deaths and injuries.
We do know, however, that the collapse of the building created a dangerous dust storm and ash that is now starting to cover New York City, especially the areas surrounding the World Trade Center.
Now our biggest fear is that the North Tower will collapse as well, causing even more panic and the dangerous ash that was from the South Tower.
We're coming back to you now with live footage from the World Trade Centers. Get out.
So, we have just received word that another plane has crashed, except it crashed in the middle of a cornfield in Pennsylvania.
Likely, they were headed toward another government facility, but where could they have been headed? What were they trying to do?
And why did they crash so early and at such a desolate area?
Clearly, these attacks are going to continue. But for now, the North Tower is still standing in New York, but we're dealing with fires and collateral damage from the South Tower's collapse.
What am I supposed to say now?
The passengers fought the 4 hijackers and are suspected to have attacked the cockpit with a fire extinguisher. The plane then flipped over and sped toward the ground at upwards of 500 miles per hour, crashing at a rural field in western Pennsylvania at 10:10 a.m. All 45 people aboard were killed. Its intended target is not known, but theories include the White House, the U.S. Capitol, the Camp David presidential retreat in Maryland, or one of several nuclear power plants along the eastern seaboard.
Okay, we're done.
The president is at an elementary school in Florida. He's now stopped his reading session, which he was doing a tour of Florida to see all the elementary schools there. But
the North Tower has just collapsed.
The North Tower has collapsed. That means that New York is in even more danger now, with more ash being added to the problems and possibility of fires spreading.
Again, I am hopeful that everyone was able to evacuate the building in time, but again, we do not have a casualty list or an attendance list.
How could they have predicted this? We have no idea. Hopefully everyone will be okay.
And hopefully the last plane that crashed will be the last plane that will attack.
You can see there are so many repercussions happening in today's society because of this tragic event in the history of the United States. Like many things, like the policies enacted in the airports and the war on terror that is still going on in today's society that can be seen by many things like school shootings.
We'll see you next time on SSLR Documentaries.